Hello, welcome. We are going to be talking about the film Pathaan for a very long time. Besides administering the Hindi film industry with the kiss of life, the film is going to be remembered as a very potent symbol of the power of cinema in creating a big cultural moment. While it rides on the heady charm of a most loved superstar, Shah Rukh Khan, it also combines sophisticated filmmaking with that dazzling emotional shorthand that comes with great storytelling. Behind throwaway dialogues and scenes that are the stuff of great memes are big ideas about life and being. To dig into the many layers of Pathaan on Media Dialogues today, I'm talking to the person who steers a film from a gleam in a storyteller's eyes to a screen release, the captain of the ship. My guest today is the director of Pathaan, filmmaker Siddharth Anand. Siddharth, lovely to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
And many congratulations.
Thank you, Anuradha. Thank you for having me.
And what does it feel like? You know, it's such a cliched question, but really, it's like, laddu foot rahe hai, nikal rahe hai, what is happening?
I think this is a question that I'm often asked these days. How does it feel like? But I must say that obviously it's exhilarating. This is the moment that that's what filmmakers live for, you work for, and you dream about a moment like this where your film smashes records every day, a new record, and forget that. Apart from that, it's the fact that the audience is giving so much love.
Let's talk a little bit about the numbers because they are quite critical. I think after 7 days or in the first week of release, the worldwide gross figures were in the region of 634 crores. We are in the 10th day as we record this.
Yes.
So in the second week. What do you have? Do you have an update? And what do these numbers mean really for this business? Because it is about sustaining this business.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
I think we've also done a record number within the first few days, within the first 5 days. And we probably, we've taken in a large part of the audience already inside, and then we've started getting repeat viewings. This is something which hadn't happened for a long time. People going in to watch the film the second and third time within the first weekend itself. It just means that people believe in cinema yet. People still want to go out there. We thought pandemic would have changed the viewing habits with the the advent of the OTT formats and stuff like that. But people are happy to go to the theatre in droves, with families, with friends in large numbers. So that's a positive sign for the industry going ahead, I feel.
But do you have an update on the figures since the 7 days?
Every hour there's a new update.
What is the update as of this Friday afternoon?
I'm hoping, I'm hearing we're going to cross 700 crores today worldwide. So fingers crossed.
What does it mean to hear these kind of figures, these numbers, this kind of money that people are spending on something that you've created? What does it mean to you as a filmmaker? What does it mean to the producer of IRF Studios, which is in its 50th year with this film?
So glad. It's empowering, I would say. And it empowers you to spend more money because people are coming in to watch big spectacles. And if they wouldn't have come for this film, it would have changed a lot of things in the industry.
Like what?
You wouldn't have that kind of confidence or faith to put in big money behind spectacle films. It would change the kind of films we'd make. And I'm speaking this on behalf of everybody. The entire industry, what I hear, was waiting for the result of Pathaan. It couldn't have gotten bigger. You had a massive superstar, a massive production house, a franchise part of a universe, a director with a decent record, everything going for it. A cast that is stellar with Deepika and John playing a baddie, everything going for it. Big budget, songs which are blockbusters, teaser and trailers which have worked. This had to work. If it didn't, for whatever reason, let's say the film didn't work, then you wouldn't be able to pump in that kind of money. With what confidence? People are not coming back to theatres. They just don't want to watch films in theatres. We've seen that trend in the last couple of years post the pandemic, that a handful of films do numbers. You can't have that kind of a success ratio. And success also which is not great. We hadn't yet touched the pre-pandemic numbers. War, which was
your last film,
had done 300. No film had come close to 300 since the pandemic, since 2019.
No Hindi film.
In Hindi. That is the last film that did 300. Since 2019, I'm talking about.
So, Siddharth, how do you insulate yourself from this surround sound You know, it seems like overwhelming pressure. Shah Rukh's return after 4 years, you know, the Hindi film industry and the business and where it was, the, you know, the cultural, the political zeitgeist. How do you tune that out? Do you tune that out? How aware are you?
I think, you know, because I've been actually, I'm actually a third generation film kid.
Yes.
You know, so I've seen lots of ups and downs, and I know that everything is transitionary. So the fact that, so I'm not taking even this success too seriously, because I know it's all about that Friday, and I've seen giants fail, and then, you know, you don't talk about them, you just skip them, actors don't respect them, they don't do their films. I've seen a lot of that around, you know, because I've seen that growing up with other people, and people who I respected, who I looked up to, who were sort of silent mentors, I would call. So in that sense, I know it's transitionary, so you don't take anything seriously. And the pressure as such, you'll always have pressure. If your last film is a failure, you'll have pressure of that. If your last film is a success, you will have a different pressure. So that's something that has to be inherent, and you have to be able to take it.
But this time, there were so many more pressures on top of these normal pressures, right?
Now you're making me realize it. Thankfully, I was insulated. I insulated myself from it with blinkers. Honestly, to put it factually, we had a lot of work pending on the film while the marketing of the film was on, and when this noise was surrounding us, we had to really complete the film and put it out there. So we had that pressure. So we could insulate ourselves from that. So we had a lot of VFX, sound designing, the IMAX prints had to go in time. So we had a lot of things that we were working on. The entire team was working on. Adi, me, we were working on, you know, through the night. So we could insulate ourselves. I think Shah Rukh was somebody who would have felt the pressure, I feel.
Let's talk a little bit about Shah Rukh Khan, because this film, I went and saw it on Thursday. Yeah, the day it released, and an afternoon show. And I was like, I came out and I was like, oh my God. It was, for me, it was a rediscovery of Shah Rukh Khan. I felt like this is the guy, you know, I felt the way I felt when I saw Fauji. And I was like, who is this?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
it was almost like a rediscovery, to me personally, of Shah Rukh Khan. That was the first part of it, the heady charm. And then I realized as the movie went along, how much fun I had, how charming things were, and how seemingly simple, and yet, like you heard in my introduction, there were some big ideas floating in there if you wanted to find them. So, so many things to unpack here, but let's start with Shah Rukh Khan.
You know, every film of his, I think, comes with a little bit of his personality somewhere. Chak De has his resilience, and Pathaan has his flamboyance. It's a lot of Shah Rukh Khan in Pathaan. It's the kind of tongue-in-cheek humor he uses, the kind of larger-than-life persona that he is. So Pathaan is actually Shah Rukh Khan. I couldn't take another actor and make the same film. It wouldn't be the same thing. His charm, the way he's about women, the way he's about his country, everything is Shah Rukh Khan himself. So yeah, it's not a biopic, but it's a lot to do with his personality.
So you'll distill the essence of Shah Rukh Khan in this film, isn't it?
Imbibed it, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, someone was talking to me and said, you know, but it was okay. It's not a romance. I want to see Shah Rukh in a romance. He was not romancing anyone. I said, hello, he was romancing all of us together at the same time.
So true.
You know,
so true. Love oozing
gender
out.
Neutral, age neutral, just every human being.
That is so true.
He was romancing in this movie. It's interesting for me to hear you say that this was really the essence of Shah Rukh Khan, because at the post-release press conference that you guys did, I think it was John Abraham, or somebody said, you know, Shah Rukh is not an actor, he's an emotion, he's a feeling.
Yeah.
It sort of cues in from there.
Absolutely. That's the sentiment I think I realized towards the end of the film, is what the audience expects out of him. They expect love, they expect positivity, and there's an unsaid romance that he has with his audience. Like you said, it's gender neutral, age neutral. I'm seeing videos of older people, you know, plowing themselves through snow and going to watch the film. It's all over the internet. That is just breaking out of their homes to come and watch him. And yeah, so I think it's his personality that really has led this craze more than anything else.
He said something at the press conference which I found interesting. He said that everybody who worked on that film, of course starting with you and Aditya Chopra, and then everybody else down the line,
wished well for the film.
just wished well for the film and for him.
For him.
Tell me a little bit about that emotional underpinning to this experience of making and creating this film.
So let's for the time being take out the fact that his last few films didn't work. That he's the underdog coming into Pathaan. Let's take that out because it's not true. The personality that he is on set, when he walks into the room, he will greet everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. And if he's late, I'm so sorry I'm late. And at the end of the shoot, he'll say, thank you guys, thank you so much, thank you. The guy on the tarafa up there, thank you. He'll say that. He'll acknowledge the hard work they're putting in. That makes everybody root for him. Everybody wants to work harder so that he succeeds. That is what he means when he says that, because he could feel the love everyone wanted to give him. Everyone wanted to give their best for the film. Everyone wanted him to succeed. So I think that's what he's talking about, because that's all him. Yeah, because you rarely have stars. Stars normally, are full of themselves. When they walk, they are generally 2 inches above the ground. It's not real. We do that. We put them on the pedestal. We give them that special feeling that, oh, you're different. When you walk into the room, we all stand up. So we do that for them. So it's about natural that they'll feel like that. But Shah Rukh doesn't want you to. He disarms you completely with his humor, with his easy charm. Whoever it is, whether he meets my family or whether he meets you or he meets the Lightman's family, he's the same. He'll give that much respect, that much time. If you want a picture, he'll make sure he's there. Even if he's tired, he'll do that. So how can you not root for his success?
Is it also because of the particularly challenging year that it was for him personally in the past year? We know about the kind of harassment that happened to his son, right? And we know that it was absolutely a travesty of justice.
So, there's something a filmmaker told me before I started shooting for Pathaan, who's worked with him. He told me one thing, that now you're going to work with Shah Rukh, you'll never want to work with anybody else. You'll always want to work with him. And I wondered why he said that. And he had made a film with Shah Rukh at his peak of stardom. That means he felt the same what I felt during Pathaan. And that you're talking about after he's gone through whatever he went in the past year. That means that's him. It's not the situations that drove him to do this. That's him. Even today, I'm thinking constantly, what do I do next with him? I'm driven by it. He's so giving. And as a filmmaker, he is everything you imagined an artist to be. He's not the star, he's an artist.
What is the strength of Pathaan, you think, when you're watching it with audiences, when you're hearing reactions come in, when you're hearing reviews come in, and some of them have not been charitable, in the sense they love the phenomenon of the film, but they don't think it's a good film. There have been people who've said, maybe war is better, or the story is illogical, or whatever, okay? So what do you think in hindsight works for this film?
Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan. And I would attribute the promise of this film. The promise of this film comes from the trailer. So when you saw the trailer, you expected entertainment, action, and a certain energy and pace in the film. And you get exactly that. The film is an extension of the trailer. So if you liked the trailer, you were going ahead and booking tickets in advance. Advance bookings were record-breaking. That means you were expecting something like the trailer, and you got that. And maybe a little more. Maybe a little more. I think that's the promise. We didn't fool the audience that you're coming to see something extra, something intellectual, or something that's going to change your life and your thinking. You came to see a spectacle film, and you got just that.
Let's talk about the writing, because I think there's a lot of humor, right? There's a lot of, you said it right up front, Shah Rukh's wit and easy charm and, his way of speaking, you've managed to capture that in the dialoguing. So take us through some of the writing, also because this is a film that took some time to write. So one part of it is the writing of it and getting that script done, and the other part is actually shooting it. This kind of an action thriller,
break it down.
Spectacle. Yeah, please do.
So, I try and take away a little bit of a learning from my previous films. So if I'm talking about, let's say, Bang Bang, what I felt lacked in Bang Bang was a little gravitas and a strong antagonist. I applied that in War. I brought that, I made it dramatic, I brought the gravitas, I made a formidable antagonist. My takeaway from War now, what I felt war lacked was a little humor. I felt it was a little too serious and dramatic, the film. That is the only thing that I would want to inject in war. I took that and put that in Pathaan. I was certain that it had to have a certain level of humor, light humor, tongue-in-cheek humor.
Self-deprecatory also.
Probably. That also comes from Shah Rukh. So that, obviously, once we had the seed of the film, then obviously we got an Abbas to do the dialogues, and the brief was that we need to, obviously, without making it frivolous, we want it to be funny. And tongue-in-cheek humor, not laugh out loud. So not situational, because it's a thriller at the end of the day. So smart one-liners here and there. Whether some people get it or don't get it is okay. There'll be a chuckle in the theatre. At every now and then there'll be a chuckle. So it's a light atmosphere that you create in a thriller like this, which is so fast-paced. So that went into the dialogues of the film,
Right. And what about the emotional underpinning? War had quite a strong emotional underpinning. This one, not so much, and yet it's there, right? I mean, I think an action, again, I'm quoting you, you said an action thriller will be boring if it doesn't have an emotional underpinning.
You know, being patriotic also is an emotion, is a strong emotion. A man who's fighting for the country versus the man who's fighting against it. That was the basis of Pathaan. Coupled with the fact you have interpersonal relationships where you have Deepika betraying Shah Rukh, the emotion of that, Shah Rukh putting his faith in her and then her betraying him. You have a mother-son kind of a relationship between Dimple Ma'am and Shah Rukh. That is an equation where he loses her and then he has to take revenge at the end of Act 2. These are subtle emotions. I knew at the onset I wanted to make a film that is a ride. Not dramatic, a ride. So it's itemized. You will have an item every 10 minutes, whether it's a song or it's a scaled up action sequence or a death or a loss or a twist. You will have something every 10 minutes. So you're always going to be glued to the screen. You will hardly have moments where you want to take out your phone and check it. That was my barometer. And to make it a fast-paced ride. I'm not chasing to replicate the success of war. I wasn't chasing that. I didn't want Pathaan to be a Me Too of war. He's made the same film again. So I wanted the experience to be a little different. And I'm hoping that also with Fighter, for example. I'm not replicating Pathaan at all. So I'm trying to break that expectations every time. And yet give you a feeling of that you're watching my film.
And it's very, very rooted in the language of mainstream commercial cinema, isn't it?
Yeah. So that is something that's again inherent. That I have it in me. It's in my blood. Commerce.
Siddharth, just pause for a bit because we're on television. We have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, though, we're going to zoom out of Pathaan and look at the movie business and the kind of challenges it has faced in the past year or so. So stay with us. We're going to be right back.